Good afternoon, everyone. Today is the first session of our writing module. We will be covering writing in this session and in a couple of coming sessions so that you will have complete understanding of writing.
Yes,
All right, Mariam, can you help me to read this part of the writing module? It's like some basic introductory passage here. I want you to help me to read. Okay.
The writing module. As a
Okay.
student at college or university, you have to produce a lot of written material. As someone who may soon be living or working in a country where English is widely used, an ability to communicate effectively in writing will also be essential. Some writing may be in a form of letters, emails, short essays, or reports. Other pieces of writing will be longer and will require considerable planning and attention to detail.
Right.
It will therefore be important for you to be able to express yourself clearly, write in a variety of styles, and organize your ideas carefully.
Right.
You will also need to be fairly accurate in your writing so that your message is not obscured by grammatical errors. The
All
Ielts
right.
writing module tests your ability to produce two quite different pieces of writing in a fairly short period of time. Before applying to sit the test, you need to decide whether to take an academic or general training module. Each module is divided into two parts and have only 1 hour to complete both pieces of writing. In both academic and general, should I continue?
Yeah. So far, is there? Let's say what is something important in this part of the text here.
They told us about the writing module of the IELTS, like it is divided into the two parts, and before appearing in the test, you have to decide whether to appear in the journal training or in this one, academic IELTS.
It says here, writing modules here test your ability to produce two quite different pieces of writing in a fairly short period of time. Okay, mean you will be having two different kinds of writings. Okay, and you will have to complete this in a given time. Okay, before applying to sit in the test, you need to decide whether you take academic or general training. Okay, mainly we are dealing with the academic kind of test, not general training. Okay, but the difference is very little. There's not big difference here. Those who are writing for academic and training, general training, they must decide first what kind of test are they going to write, and then they will choose that kind of writing for their practice. Okay. Okay. The next thing it says each module is divided into two parts, and you have only 1 hour to complete both pieces of writing. It means you have two pieces of writing. Okay. And you will be given 1 hour. 1 hour is the time. In 1 hour, you decide how much time you want to spend on task 1 and how much time you will be spending on task 2. It's up to you. Okay. Later, I will give you my guidelines whether you should be spending much time on task 1 or task 2, or as we proceed, we will understand more about that. Okay. Please continue, Mariam.
In both academic and general training modules, task 2 is longer than task 1 and worth more marks. You are therefore advised to spend approximately 40 minutes on task 2 and 20 minutes on task 1.
Okay, here it gives an idea. The task 1, mainly when you are writing academic, they give you like a bar chart or a pie chart, line graph, and they ask you to explain, right? That is task 1. Task 2, they give you any topic and they ask you to write about the topic. So it is suggested that you spend like 40 minutes on task 2 because it is longer. You spend 40 minutes on task 2 and you spend 20 minutes on task 1. Okay. Continue reading, please.
The writing examiners may mark your work on a scale of 1 to 9 in four areas: content, organization, vocabulary, and grammar. See on page number 91. This book explains what these terms mean and how they are applied in the writing test.
Okay, what I want you, if you all have the notebooks with you, these words are very important. We will be discussing these words in great detail. The content, you should write it down in your notebook. Number one is content. You write it down, and then you write down number two, that is organization. It comes here, because these are the words we will be focusing more and more in the coming sessions or in the coming days. Number three, you write it down, vocab, that is number three. And number four is the grammar. So you have basically four words here, which we will be discussing in great detail in the coming pages. So you should be very much aware of these four words. Okay, the four words you all know. Okay, now looking at the next, yes, Mariam, continue, please.
Academic writing task 1. In
Okay,
the first part, you are given a task based on some graphic or pictorial information. You are
right.
expected to write a summary of the information provided in least 150 words.
Yeah, okay. So in the task one, as I said, task one, in the first part, you are given a task based on some graphic or pictorial information. You will be given a picture, maybe a line graph, a bar chart, a pie chart, and they will ask you to explain. You write a summary. What is this picture uh, mentions? What is something given in this bar graph or line graph or bar chart or pie chart? You explain and you give all the information, and you should write about 150 words. Okay, your answer should not be less than 150 50 words. Okay, this is task one. Okay, continue, Mariam. Task two.
Academic writing task 2. The second task is more demanding. You are
Right.
expected to produce a written argument on a given topic and to organize your answer clearly, giving some examples to support your point, and you have to write at least 250 words.
Understand. So this is like some kind of essay writing. Basically, task two is a kind of an essay, okay, where they will give you a topic. The topic is more like argumentative, which has like different aspects, okay. For example, I say, is it good to eat at home or in the restaurant? So you can agree or you can disagree. You can say your things in the favor of the topic and against the topic. And it can be like, do you think co-education is the right medium of educating people? Or you think that no? So this is again, it's like a controversial topic. It has like arguments. You can agree or you can disagree. So you write about 250 words. First one, it was 150 words. This is 250 words. That is how it says that when you are writing 150 words, you should spend 20 minutes. And when you are writing 250 words, you should be spending 40 minutes. 20 minutes for task one because it's shorter, and 40 minutes for task two because it is longer. So mainly we will be focusing on these two tasks. Those who are writing general training, the only difference is, instead of writing the first task is a graph or a pictorial information, they will be asked to write a letter. They will give the topic and you will be writing a letter. And task two is the same task for those who are writing general training. But our main focus will be academic. So the first task is for 150 words, you will be spending 20 minutes. Second task is for 250 words and you will be spending 40 minutes. It's a kind of an essay. We will go in further detail in the coming pages. Okay. Yes, Mariam, please continue. Now we'll start writing task one.
Writing Ielts writing task 1. There are 4 areas called the assessment criteria, which the examiner will focus on when marking task 1 of the academic writing test.
Okay.
These same 4 areas are also used to assess the journal training writing module, even though task 1 in general training writing and academic are different. In both modules, each of the 4 areas is worth a quarter of the total marks for task 1.
Right.
In academic writing task 1, the diagrams, charts, graphs, or tables are always introduced in the question paper, and you are then instructed to summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and the main comparison where relevant.
Okay, Mariam, can you explain what is task one? What is basically task one is?
Okay, they are saying that basically there are 4 assessment criteria on which base the examiner will test your
Yeah.
ability.
Okay.
And this is same in both general training
Right.
and academic writing task.
Right.
And
So
in task 1,
in
there
writing
are
task
diagrams,
one,
charts, graphs, tables. You have to summarize them.
yes, mean in task one, they will give you a diagram or chart or a table, and they will ask you to summarize this whole thing. Okay, that is task one. I will show you the pictures in the coming pages. And then when after you complete that, there is certain assessment criteria, and they will follow this assessment criteria when they are checking your work. What is that assessment criteria? We will discuss that now. Yes, Mariam, continue please.
Look at the table and the box below. The table shows the 4 assessment criteria for writing task 1, and the box shows a list of skills and strategies academic writing candidates must use in order to get a good mark. Match each of the skill and strategies A to R to one of the 4 assessment criteria. The first 2 have been done for you.
Okay, thank you. Now here it says, here is the assessment criteria. The assessment criteria is, they will look at your content. I have already asked you to write down these words because these are the words we will be mainly focusing on. The first one is content. When you write your task 1 or your task 2, the first thing they will look, what is your content? Okay. Then second thing, how have you organized your content, your organization skill? Okay. Then the third thing which they are going to look, they're going to look at your vocab. But what kind of vocabulary are you using in your task 1 and in your task 2? And the fourth one is your grammar. That whatever you are writing, is it grammatically correct or it has grammar mistakes? So you can see now when you are writing, what is something you should be focusing on. So you should be focusing on these 4 things, and the 4 things are given here. That is content, organization, vocabulary, and grammar. Okay. From now on, you should be working on all these 4 aspects of writing. Whenever you write anything, look at the content. Is the content appropriate? Is your content related to the topic? Or your content is out of the context? If it is out of the context, if it is not related to the topic, you will not be given marks for that. Secondly, your organization. Have you organized it in the right way? Mean like the beginning, the middle, and conclusion. Is it coming in order or some kind of organization? Or like how have you arranged your paragraphs or your details? Then the next thing is vocabulary. What kind of words are you using? Are you using like a variety of words, or are you just repeating the same words again and again? Okay. And the last thing is your grammar. There shouldn't be any grammar mistake. If your writing task 1 or task 2 has grammar mistakes, it means your writing is not up to the mark. You will get less marks for that part, that is writing, that grammar. So you have to be very careful about all these 4 aspects. Okay. Now, before going next, what I want, look at the same question number 1, and look at the skills and strategies here. For example, A, now there are different strategies. The first strategy A, use linkers appropriately. Where will you put this? Is it coming in content? Is it coming in organization? Is it coming in vocabulary? Is it coming in grammar? So you will just check here, like the first one is use, this one is A, use linkers appropriately. So it's coming in organization. And B, choose the right words. It is coming in vocab. Okay. C, use the correct punctuation. Please tell me, you can tell me in the chat boxes, or you can just unmute yourself and speak. Where are you going to put this?
The
Okay.
grammar.
In your, just a minute, please. Can you check the chat box is working? I have a chat box open in my other device. Can you check that it's working there? Yeah, you can say something. Yes, that's fine. It's working. Okay, so let's start with the C. Okay, C is grammar. Okay. Yes, that's right. It's grammar. So C comes here. Yes, C comes here. All right. Next one is D. Choose words that go well together. That is vocab. Okay. So D is our vocab. Okay. D vocab. Yes. Let's say E. Include data to support points. It's content. So E content. Okay. E is content. F. Use the right tense and voice. Use the right tense and voice. It's grammar. Okay. So it goes here. F comes here. And then comes G. Use paragraphs appropriately. Use paragraphs appropriately. That comes in organization. Yes. So this is G. G comes here. H. Provide an overview of the information. Content. Okay. So provide an overview. Yes, Omera, if you want to say something, please unmute yourself and speak. Provide an overview of the information. H. That is your content. If you want to say something, please unmute yourself and speak.
Sir, I want to ask about what is linkers.
Linkers. Okay. Linkers. Which one was that? Linkers. Use link. Okay. Linkers are, we also use them as connectives, linking words, connecting words, conjunctions, right? The words which can be used to join two sentences, that they are called linking words. In the coming exercises, we will be discussing these linking words in again. For example, conjunctions and, but, so, or. These are linking words. There are so many more. We will be discussing these in the coming exercises. Okay, next one, I. Use words in the correct form. So I, it can be vocabulary. Okay. Yes. J. Use complex sentences. Use complex sentences. That's J. Use complex sentences. No, it's not content. No, it's not content. Using simple, compound, complex sentences. Organization. No, it's not. It's a part of grammar section. So we'll be putting it in grammar. That's J. And next one, K. Use reference words to avoid repetition. Use reference words to avoid. So K comes in vocab. Okay, L, use the right prepositions. Use the right prepositions. Grammar. Okay, that's L. All right, next one is spell words correctly. Spell words correctly. So it's like spelling, maybe grammar or vocab. Okay, spelling of the words. I'll put it in vocab. Okay, and then select most appropriate information. N, I think it will go for content. And O, use comparative structures correctly. O, again comparative structure, I'll put it in vocab, in grammar. O, and then P, use precise words and expressions. That's vocab. P is in vocab. Okay, next Q, write at least 150 words. 100 Q. Q is content. Okay. And the last one, present information in a logical order. So maybe I'll put it in organization. All right. So we'll make it in this way. Okay. So you can see how these strategies and skills are going to help you in scoring good marks or good grades in the writing part. Okay. Now we will be studying all these things in our coming exercises or in the coming chapters. Okay. So now you are just like familiar with all these things, that okay, these are the things I'm going to study, and these things will improve my writing as a whole. Okay, but remember, again, we are going to work on 4 aspects of writing: content, organization, vocabulary, and grammar. Okay, now we'll move on. Okay, again, Mariam, if you may continue reading from this page onward.
Okay. Art writing task 2. The instructions for academic and journal training task 2 are the same. You have to write a discursive essay at least 250 words. There may be more than one part of the task. Under task 1, there are 4 equally weighted criteria, and each one has up to 9 bands. However, the scale and strategies for content are different in task 2.
All right. I mean, in task 2, they will give you a topic, and it's discursive. It's like a discussion, argumentative. It can be different topics are there, and you will be writing 250 words. Okay. And task 1, as I have told you, you will be given like a picture, a diagram, and you will be asked to summarize that or interpret. Okay. Now again, the criteria, assessment criteria, is based on 4 things. We have already discussed these 4 things. Yes, Mariam, please continue the first one. Content.
Content, scale and strategies. Show a clear, positive or clear, balanced view. Present sufficient main idea. Add support to main ideas and introduce and conclude the topic.
Yeah, I mean, these are the things you should be focusing on when you are writing about content. Show a clear position that you agree or you disagree. Show a clear position or how clear or balanced point of view. Okay, mean balance things. If the topic is argumentative, you should present both sides, not just one side. And then in conclusion, you give what is something, your final thought. Okay. Next thing is present sufficient main idea. Okay. Then add support your ideas with your examples, with your real life situations, with evidences, and support whatever you choose, either you agree or disagree, you must give examples. You must support your point of view. Introduce and conclude the topic. First, give the introduction in the first paragraph, and then give conclusion in the last paragraph. Okay. What you must not do,
Write less than
250 words. You shouldn't write less than 250 words. If you write less than 2 words, your marks will be deducted, you know. And don't use bullet points, because you are writing in paragraphs. You shouldn't use bullet points. The next thing is only address half the task. Okay, only address, you shouldn't address half the task. You shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do this. You should address the whole task, not half of the task. Give irrelevant answers. You should not write irrelevant stuff, or your answer should not be irrelevant. All the content, whatever you are writing, that should be relevant to the topic. It should not be irrelevant. So these are the things which you should not do, and these are the things you should do when you are writing, and mainly you are talking about content here. All these things come under the content. Yes, Mariam, please continue.
Sorry. Under organization, more emphasis is placed on paragraphing in task 2 than in task 1.
Okay.
You cannot score above band 5 if you do not use any paragraphs. And you cannot score above band 6 if your paragraphs do not have a clear central topic. Okay.
Right.
Otherwise, the criteria of organization, grammar, and vocabulary are the same as task 1.
Okay.
Number
Continue,
3,
please.
work with a partner together. See which of the skills and strategies A to R on page number 92 you can add to the table below from your work on task 1.
Okay.
Organization, link main and supporting point well. Vocabulary, use less common vocab. Grammar, use a range of sentence types.
Yeah, when the organization, link main and supporting points, mean all your writing should be well integrated. It should be like a well-knit structure. It shouldn't be like random sentences. Your first paragraph is connected with the second paragraph. Second paragraph is connected with the third paragraph. And your third paragraph is connected with your conclusion. Okay? And one sentence is connected with another sentence, and that sentence is connected with the next sentence. That is called how you organize your writing. Okay? It should be well organized, well planned, and well knit structure. Okay? The second thing is your vocab. You shouldn't use the same words again and again. You should be using a variety of words. You should have enough vocabulary that instead of saying just one thing, you can say the same thing but in different ways. Okay? You can use less common words. You should use like big words. You should not repeat the same words again and again. If you use one word in first paragraph, and you should try to use some other words similar to that in the next paragraph. In the coming exercises, we will be working on improving our vocabulary and having like more similar words, more antonyms, more synonyms, more like phrases, more idioms, more proverbs, which will help you to improve your writing and improve your vocabulary. So it says, and you should also have like your own vocabulary journal where you are collecting vocab and you are using these different vocabulary words in your everyday life so that these words are very much familiar to you. Instead of saying the same thing again and again, you can find some other words for the same thing. Okay? Or for example, I just give you one example here. Instead of saying the test was easy, right? You can say that the test was simple. You can say the test was very straightforward. The test was a piece of cake. Oh, it was very basic. It was just like very simple. I handled it quite easily. So just instead of saying easy, you can just like use some other words which like make your writing better, and it seems like you're not repeating the same word again and again. We will be having some practice on that. The last thing is grammar. Use a range of sentences, like you, instead of using just simple sentences, you can use compound sentences, you can use complex sentences, you can use like figurative expressions, you can use sentences in a way that you have less grammar mistakes. You know, your sentences are not like run-on sentences or redundant, or you know, they have a clear sense, and when you read the sentences, they sound like strong sentences. Okay, we will have practice on that. We will move on to writing one. I want someone else to who can help me to read this part, same like the way Mariam did. Maybe Abir, you can help me in that, or someone else.
Okay, sir.
Yes, Abir.
Okay. Writing, interpreting charts, tables, graphs, and diagrams. Why do I have to interpret graphic information in task 1? Being able to understand and describe graphic information is an important academic skill. You need to show that you can interpret this type of factual information clearly and accurately. What do I need to know? You need to develop a good understanding of different types of visual data. Collect some example of graphs, charts, and diagrams to help you do this.
Right, okay. Because in the first, we are going to talk about the first task, and it is mainly dealing with graphs, charts, diagrams. So if you are dealing with, if your studies is like this kind of study, you will find it quite easy. And otherwise, you need to get some information, just like making yourself familiar with this kind of work, so that things will be very clear for you. Yes, please, Abir, continue.
Interpreting visual information. Here are some examples of the main types of charts, tables, graphs, and diagrams that you may get in IELTS Writing Task 1. Make sure you know how to interpret them. Bar charts. In a bar chart, the values are given along one axis, and each bar represents what is being measured along the other axis. The bars can then be compared.
Okay, so here, this is the first example which you have. The example is given here. This is the example. It's a bar chart. You know, these are different bars here. This is one. Here is another one. These are called bars. Some are going up, some are down, some are very low. So this picture, remember, this is called bar chart. Anytime you see this picture, remember that this is called bar chart. Okay, we are going to talk about this bar chart now, and we will be discussing this one here. Okay, now we are going to look at this bar chart which is given here, and we are going to look the information here, and we are going to find the answers. Yes, Abhi?
Okay. Charts, tables, and graphs present facts which are objective and often involve measurement. For example, the bar chart on the right shows what a group of students think about a film they have just seen. We can interpret the information by saying that half the students did not like the film, or by saying that 50% or of the students did not like the film. We can be even more specific and state that 15 out of 30 students did not like the film.
Okay. So here, if you see there, it says here, charts, tables, and graphs present facts which are objective and often involve measurements. For example, the bar chart on the right shows what a group of students think about a film they have just seen. We can interpret the information by, now here you have this side here, this is number of students, okay, from 0 to 30. I mean 30 is the whole number from 0 to 30. And here you have students' opinions. I mean 5 students say the movie was good. And then 10 students say, okay, that it was okay. And then 15 students here, they say that not very good. So now again, you can look at the both axes. Okay, most of these bar charts have 2 axes. Say one is here, you must understand, one is saying number of students, other one is giving the opinions. Okay, now if someone asks you, what is this bar chart about? So you can simply say, this bar graph chart is about the number of students who went to watch a movie, and this bar chart explains, or just like describes or explains, how many students liked the movie and how many students didn't like the movie, and how was the whole thing, and you can just get an idea how was the movie about. Okay, we can interpret the information by saying half the students did not like the film, because it says 15% say not very good. So half of the students did not like the film, didn't like the movie. Okay, and the rest of the, like 10%, 10 students out of 30 say that it was just okay. Only 5%, not 5%, only 5 students liked the movie. So it says half the student did not like the film, or say 50% did not like, same thing. Okay, and then we can be even more specific to say that 15 out of 30 students did not like the film. So this is how we explain this kind of information given here. First of all, you should look at the bar chart and you should try to understand what is this bar chart about. What kind of data is being explained in this bar chart, and what kind of information is given, okay, what kind of comparison is made, and then you write down in your own sentences, and basically you are making some kind of comparisons, and we will be studying more words, how to compare, contrast, how to write different words in percentages or in different comparison situations. Okay, so this is the first thing, that this is called bar chart. Okay, well, I hope it is clear, you understand what is bar chart and what does this bar chart represent. Okay, anyone wants to explain what does this bar chart say and what does it explain? What is written on this part here down, and what is written on this side here, this one and this one. Most of the time the bar charts will be something like this. So you have to understand what is given on this axis and what is the horizontal and vertical, and then you can explain. Okay, we will move on to the second one. Abir, please continue.
Find out some factual information about your class members or your friends and family. How many of them enjoy taking part in the activities shown in the table on the right? Put a trick against each activity the people like doing, and then write the total in the total column.
Okay, so it says find out some factual information about your class members or your friends and family. How many of them enjoy taking part in the activities shown in the table on the right? Put the tick against each activity the people like doing and then write the total in. Okay, I will ask you a question. In your chat box, please tell me how many of you like skiing. If you think that skiing is the best, please give me like a check or thumbs up in the chat box. Anyone? How many of you like skiing? I suppose no one. Okay, so I feel no one is interested in skiing. Let's talk about cooking. Can you write just yes when you say for cooking? Umaira, if you want to say something, you can. Okay, Abir says yes. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I have, okay. So let me say 1, 2, and 3. Okay, next one is playing badminton. Okay, cooking is 4. What about playing badminton? Now we move on to playing badminton. Yes, please. Okay. Okay, 1, 2. Yes, 1 and 2, 3. Okay. Next one is very interesting. I'm sure all of you will be there. Badminton again 4. What about shopping? Next one is shopping. I think all. Okay. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Okay. Next one. Next one is, okay, another one. Next one is painting. Let's say, how many of you like painting? Now, yes, painting 3. Okay. 4. Yeah, okay. Now the last one, listening to music. Listening to music. The last one, yeah, okay. 1, 2, listening to music. 3. Yeah. 4. 5. Okay. So you can see here, this is 0. 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then this 4, and this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see here now. This is a kind of survey. Find out some factual information about your class members. How many of them enjoy taking part in these activities shown in the table. Put the tick against each activity of the people doing and then write the total in the total columns. I have written it. Now we can, if someone can just say it in few words. First of all, tell me, what is this kind of table about? This table. What is this table about? And then can you, in 1 or 2 sentences, you can just write it down, how you compare the information. What is something most of the students like? What is something they are least interested? Or what is something that they like to do? Or something like the most famous? Okay. Okay. So mainly, anybody would like to just give this information in 1 or 2, 3 sentences. What is this table about? And what does the information tell us? Okay, for example, this table about different activities. Yes, Mariam, you can explain.
This table will explain about the activities student enjoy.
What
Like on
are the
one
different
side, we
activities? You
will
can say the activities are.
like on one side we can write the activities, and on below like horizontal we can set that, like here we set students opinion, so we
No, I
can
mean
say like
this table mainly
it's
explains
about the
different
some
activities different people
student.
like to do in their free time. And the
Yes,
activities are skiing, cooking, playing
playing badminton,
badminton,
shopping.
shopping, painting,
uh,
listening to music.
yes.
Okay? Okay. Continue, please.
So you are saying like how we can represent this in a bar chart, or
No, mean like now you have explained that this table is giving us some factual information about the class members who have shown their interest in different activities, and the
yes,
activities are skiing, cooking, playing badminton, shopping,
shopping.
painting, listening to music. And
Yes,
after completing the activity, we have come to the conclusion that most
yeah,
of the people, most of the people like to go shopping. Shopping is the most important thing or the most interesting thing people like to do. And the second thing people want to do in their free time, they want to listen music. Okay, and also people like to spend time cooking, playing badminton, and painting. There is one thing people are not really interested, and that is skiing. There can be some reasons why people are not interested in skiing, but the people are least bothered about or least interested in skiing. So we can say that more than 50% of the people are interested in shopping, or most of the people want to go for shopping and they find shopping more interesting. So it's something like this. This is how you just explain this whole thing in your own words, right?
yes, I get it now.
Okay, now you got some idea?
Yes, yes.
Okay, now we will move on, and we can look at this question number 2. Use the information, it says here, use the information in the table to make a bar chart, make some factual statements about the data, try to use the following structures. You can use these words: 5 out of 10, 50%, 1/3 of. And number 4 says, make some general observations using the same data. For example, the most, the second most, the third most, the least, the majority of, the large number of. I mean, you can use these vocab words when you are explaining. These are very strong words, powerful words. For example, in the previous exercise, for example, you can say the majority of the family members like to go shopping. You can say a large number of family members want to go shopping. Most of the family members want to go shopping. Very few people are interested in painting. There is hardly any who wants to go skiing. So can you just use some of these words and tell me some kind of sentences in about everyday life? Like, for example, hardly any, very few, most of the people, a large number of people, the majority of the people, the most of the people. Can you just unmute yourself, anyone, and can like give me a few examples how you can use these words? Like, for example, these days majority of the people are staying inside. A large number of people are not going to work these days. Okay.
Like a large number of people are victim of the virus,
Yes, it can be. Yeah, it can be.
or we can say like the third most common thing here is, like we can say,
There are some people who are least bothered about this coronavirus, right? They don't care.
Very
They
few
think,
people are taking care of the virus, as
yes,
you can
very
see.
few people, or the majority of, or very few, hardly any. You can use these words when you are comparing. Remember this one, you should use these vocab words when you are comparing the bar graph or bar chart. You should be writing these words in your vocabulary journal, because if you don't use these words, these comparatives, you will not be getting good grades. So please try to use these vocab words or these phrases in your comparisons every time. Someone is saying very few people are taking coronavirus seriously. Okay, that's good. Can you use few more words or more phrases in your sentences, like hardly any, most of the people, a large number of, the majority of, the least, the most, the second most, the third most, 5 out of 10, 50%, a third of, okay? Half of my family is very serious about this kind of disease. The other half is least bothered. Something like that, you know. If you use this, majority of the people are affected by coronavirus, okay? If you use these words in your everyday life, you will be able to use them when you are writing. Otherwise, you will not remember these words. So please try use these vocab words in your everyday life. These are very important words. Okay, we move on. May I know that how are the things so far? Are you getting it? You feel that you understand what we are discussing? What is something I have discussed so far? Does it make sense about writing or no? If it doesn't make sense, I will be going back and explaining again. If it makes sense, I can continue working on the next exercise. Okay, I'm still waiting for your answers. You can just say something in the chat box. Yeah, Mariam says getting all. Okay, Aisha says hardly any patient get recovered after getting infected by COVID-19, especially old people. Okay, all right, very good sentence. Yes, Aisha says how charts are making sense in writing. Yeah, getting it. Okay, this is just the beginning. We will have so much practice, plenty of exercises are coming, so you will be getting it more and more. The only thing is try to write down the important vocabulary, because that vocab will help you to speak and to write more or better sentences. Okay. Yes, thank you, Omera, you are getting it. Okay, now the next thing is about pie chart. Previously we studied that was bar chart. Remember that. That was bar chart. That was an example of bar chart. Okay, now the next thing is, this one is, this is about pie chart. Okay, we are talking about here, we are talking about pie chart. The previous exercise was like bar chart. So remember this one. A pie chart is another way of presenting information, but the segments are always percentages of a whole. Together they represent 100%. Like here you have a pie chart. Remember, this shape is called pie chart. So if you see on the picture, from here to here, it makes like 60%. This is 5%, then 15%, and here we have like 20%. Okay, so that is basically about music sales, the music which is sold. Okay. The question says, draw a bar chart on the previous pages. Question number 6. Read the test tip and improve your writing box. Use the information in the pie chart of sales opposite to complete sentences 1 to 4 below. Okay. We will just explain this one. What is it about? Okay. See, in America, different people go to Bob's musical store and they buy different things. Okay, it's about Bob's music store. Okay, so you can say here DVDs, then PC games, then CDs and posters. And this color, as you see, this is 60% DVDs. Then this one is 20%, and CDs is here 15%, and poster is here 5%. So just look at this pie chart for like 2 minutes and tell me, what do you understand from this pie chart and how will you explain it? Okay, it's not hard, and then I will be giving my feedback on this one here. Just look at it for 2 minutes and then we will discuss.
Should I tell?
Okay, yes, you can, Mariam. If you have completed, you can.
In this pie chart, they are explaining about the sale of at music store, and they start telling us that majority of the people are interested in DVDs. Like about
Okay.
50% of the people are interested in DVDs, and then at the second number, the PC games are much popular. And if we talk about the CDs, and the very few people are interested in CDs, and hardly 5% of population is interested in posters and all.
Okay, so how do you see in general, like you are explaining this whole thing in your own words? First of all, you should tell me what is this pie chart about. Okay, I mean, introduction, it talks about something, it deals with something, and then it explains something, it explains what, and then you explain, and then you just make some comparisons. Yeah.
Sir, may I explain?
Yeah.
Like this
Okay. Mariam, I think Humaira wants to share something. Yes.
The pie chart basically depicts the sales of different music related gadgets like DVDs, PC games, CDs and posters that occurred at Bob's music store. Basically, the 60% sales of DVDs were sold, and the selling of PC games was just 20%, and the poster was sold just of 5%. So the majority of sale was, and on high demand was, the DVDs, and the least sale was done by the posters. That was just 5%.
Most of the people are interested in DVDs, and there are very few people who are interested in posters. And about 20% people like PC games, and 15% like CDs. All right. So
Yes.
we move on and we look at the next part here. Okay. Improve your writing. Make sure you know how to use percent and percentage. Percent comes after a number. Percentage comes after words like this, that, and this is often. Okay. Next one, preceded by an adjective, a high percentage of customers. Both go with the preposition of. Okay. Common error, nearly 30% of the books were new. Okay, when writing numbers or percentages, use words up to the number 10, either percent and then figures. 12%, however, always write number at the beginning of a sentence in words, like 12%. Okay, now the same pie chart, here we have a question. Okay, look at question number 1. According to the chart which is shown up, okay, you can look at the chart again. According to the chart, dash of the shop sales are DVDs. So what will you write here?
60%.
60%, yes. So my answer will be 60. I will be writing here like this, 60%. I don't want to waste my time. I just write 60%. Or I can say, according to the chart, highest percentage of the shop sales are DVDs. Okay, both are correct. According to the chart, 60%, or the highest percentage of the shop sales are DVDs. Okay, number 2, CDs account for a much smaller of sales.
Percentage.
Percentage, yes. So write PERCENTAGE, percentage of sales. Number 3, while PC games account for of the store's sale.
20%.
20%, yeah, that's right, 20%. 20% of the sales store, the percent of the CDs sold in is the percent of CDs sold is only 15. Okay, number 4, posters represent the dash of goods sold.
5%.
Sorry?
5%.
Posters represent the dash of goods sold. Posters represent the 5% of goods sold. Can we say something else instead of saying percentage or percent?
Least of the goods sold.
Least, or you can say lowest, smallest, lowest or smallest of goods sold.
Very less.
Because it's very less or very little. Okay, something like that. Okay. Okay. Now remember, the first thing which we studied, that was a bar chart. Then second thing we studied, that was a pie chart. Okay. Now we are going to look at something else, that is a table. Okay. This is the next thing. This is called a table, as you see on the board. This is called a table. Okay. Tables present information about different categories. Sometimes tables can be turned into charts, but sometimes the categories are too different to do this. A number of secondary schools in 3 countries conducted a survey about how their students travel to school. Here are the results. So now we understand that this table is about the number of students studying in secondary school. The table is a survey conducted in different secondary schools. Okay, so now look at the table. Methods of travel by percent. Walking, by car, by public transport. In Britain, 19, okay, 19%, Australia 15, Singapore 25. Car 65% in Britain, Australia 65%, Singapore 10%. Okay, and public transport in Britain 16, Australia 20, Singapore 65. Okay, now here it says work with a partner together, discuss the similarities and differences in the table, and then say whether you could turn this table into a chart. Okay, these sentences below describe the facts in the table in exercise 9. Complete the sentences using the information in the table and the words in the box. Okay, see here, percent, on foot, percentage, figures, most, least common, popular. Okay, so you can have a look at the table one again, and then we will be completing this exercise down here. So, like for example, it says the car is the dash means of transport for British and Australian school children, with dash of students in both countries getting to school in this way. So what are the different words from the top? Look at the table here and tell me what words. Oh, someone says popular, highest. Okay.
Car is the most common mean of.
Most common, yes. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Most common, popular. Popular 65%. You can also say 65%. So most common, okay, with 65%. Yes. So the car is the most common means of transport for British and Australian school children, with 60% of students in both countries getting to school in this way. So when you are writing, the first thing you will tell what is this table about. 1 or 2 sentences, just like basic introduction of the table. After that, you will write the same sentence. The car is the most common means of transport for British and Australian school children, with 65% of students in both countries getting to school in this way. Okay, now number 2, in contrast, mean the opposite thing. In contrast, only of Singaporean students use cars, and this is dash method of transport there. Someone says 10%. 10% least common, yeah, it can be. Only 10% of Singaporean students use cars, and this is the least common or least popular. We can say least popular method of transport there. Okay, number 3, yeah, least common is also right. Number 3, we can look at number 3. I want to show you the table as well. There are considerable differences in the dash for public transport. There are considerable differences in the, what word will you use here? there are considerable differences in the dash. Sorry?
There is a considerable difference in the percentage for public transport.
Differences in the, you can say figures or percentages, figures for public transport. Number 4, a large of students in Singapore use public transport. A large percentage, yes, a large percentage of students in Singapore use public transport. A large percentage of students in Singapore use public transport. Number 5, in Britain and Australia, figures for public transport are lower, being 16% and 20%. Mean in one country it's 16 and in the other it is 20 respectively. Okay. Number 6, less than of students walk to school in Britain and Australia. Less than less than what will you say here? Less than of students walk to school in Britain. Less than 20%, okay? Less than of students walk to school in Britain and Australia. Less than 20%, that's right. 20%, okay? Less than 20%. And number 7, for Singaporeans, walking is the second option. Second most common option, with the quarter of the students traveling to school
On foot.
on foot. Okay, so now you have completed the information. The only thing, when you will write a paragraph, you will write 1 or 2 sentences in introduction, and then you just write all 7 sentences in a paragraph, and that will be your answer. It's 150 words. It's not a big deal, just like 1 page. And if you just write some basic information, some introduction, and then you explain this bar graph or line graph or bar chart or pie chart, whatever it is, you will make it 150 words. And if you use good vocab, good grammar, and you just use some good expressions, some comparisons, you will get good grades for that.